I've been selling this tea now for almost 2 years and y'all hoes still fat. I done went and bought new equipment and upgraded my whole situation and y'all hoes still fat. The summer about to roll around and y'all hoes still fat. Buy the damn tea. Everybody upgrading all the way around except y'all. Drop down in the description box and click the link so you can upgrade your body. Damn. Ooh, Carly girl. Child, I couldn't even get out of Vegas good without y'all blowing up my line talking about Mo'Nique got it going on with DL Hughley. I'm like Anita Baker, baby. Y'all done brought me out of retirement because this story, it brings me joy. Want to talk about it? Here you go. Now, so girl, I was minding my business like I always do. And then I was scrolling through Instagram, baby, and Mo'Nique was on that stage letting DL Hughley have it, baby. And I said, ooh, Carly girl. Now listen, when I was looking at it, I had none of the details. I was just looking at her going off, and I was thinking to myself, ooh, Lord, for this lady to be up on this stage going off the way she was, this man done did something to her. He did it. He did it. He did it because she was going in and letting have, talking about the man was on the DL, what that stood for, told that man how she closed for the Kings of Comedy, the Queens of Comedy, that he closed for the Kings of Comedy, and that he opened for the Kings of the Comedy, and she closed for the Queens of Comedy, and basically that ought to show where they at when it come to status level. Now look, then I had to sit back because Mo'Nique said she had the contract. So now I'm all in. I'm like, Mo'Nique said she got the contract. I think I was on the neighborhood talk page of the Shade Room, and I think my comment was like, well, you know, where's the contract? Put the contract up. The contract will solve everything. But come to find out, y'all, the contract stuff looking a little fishy because nobody has yet been able to produce a contract that is signed by all three parties, the promoter, DL, or Mo'Nique, as far as I'm concerned. Now, it looks as if the promoter is playing Mo'Nique against DL, right? Because DL had a deal memo that he posted up. For those of you guys who don't know what a deal memo is, it's non-legally binding. A deal memo is basically a synopsis of what the people are thinking about giving you. You know, we're going to give you this, we're going to give you that, you'll come on at this time. It's just really like a rough draft of what the contract will look like. And then that gives your representation time to go back, modify the deal memo, and they put it into an official contract. Now, when Mo'Nique posted up her contract, it said Hicks Company or whatever the case may be. And I was like, oh, well, here go the contract. Then everybody was like, Dineva, hold on. That was the contract that was drafted by Mo'Nique's husband, okay, in his company. Now, listen, that's not a big deal because it can go that way. Sometimes the contracts can be drafted up by the venue, by the promoter, by the person that's putting it on, or the contract can be drafted by the comedian, the third party, just as long as everybody signs whichever drafted contract. And again, unless y'all know something that I don't know, I have yet to see a single contract that all three parties have signed. If it is, somebody drop down in the description box and let me know. Now, here's the thing. I had to reach out to a couple comedian friends of mine to get a bigger rundown of what it is that's going on here. Like, you know, what's the big deal about going last, okay? You know what I'm saying? Going last, especially when both of y'all are equally as good, Mo'Nique and DL. But I guess, you know, when you the headliner, you want to close the show. I get it. It's all full of ego at the end of the day, but whatever. Now, here's the thing. Mo'Nique's harping on the contract, and I'm with her. If that's the contract that they were all supposed to sign and all supposed to use, then her claims are valid. But there are just a couple things prior to the contract that have me looking a little skeptical here. Number one, DL told her, go look at the ticket stub. And the ticket stub shows his name as the larger name and the other people kind of smaller. Now listen, when I go to concerts, when I go to comedy shows, the person who has top billing is the headliner. In addition to that, I saw posters that were posted up for promotional materials which had DL's picture as the larger picture and Mo'Nique was in a smaller picture in the corner. Now look, I get booked from time to time. And I only get booked for $2,500. But even in my booking contract, it says before they can put out any promotional materials with my face, likeness, or name on it, that it must be sent over to my team for approval before they can go live with it. So my question is, for Mo'Nique and her team, did y'all not see the ticket stubs and did y'all not see any of the promotional materials? Because it would seem to me that if you saw some of those promotional materials in advance of the concert, that would have been the opportunity to say, no. This is not right. This needs to be moved. This needs to be adjusted per the contract. This is what it needs to be. Now listen, I'm not saying either one of them is right and wrong because, again, I have yet to see a contract signed by all three parties. DL got his deal memo. Mo'Nique got the one that was drafted up by her husband. And the promoter hasn't said anything to date unless y'all know something that I do not know. But here is the thing that's the most troublesome to me. I always say you can't do wrong to a motherfucker and tell them how mad to get. And that's the God honest truth. Once again, whether Mo'Nique was wronged, whether she was right, wrong, or indifferent, I just don't like the way she went about handling it, especially coming off the heels of the Tyler Perry, Oprah, Lee Daniels thing. It further adds to the narrative that you are difficult. And it further adds to the narrative that the minute things do not go your way, you are going to go on stage or go on a public platform or a press tour and make a big stink about things. This should have been handled backstage. In addition to that, I don't think it was proper to attack DL's sexuality, call him all type of bitch ass niggas and all this type of stuff. Because to be quite honest, now that you've done that, if we were in the streets, you have now put DL in a situation where him and your husband now got to fight. He can't fight you. He can't sit on the stage and call you all types of bitches and stuff because men and women not supposed to do that. And now we in a situation where his wife may see you in the hallway and want to haul off and fight you. I hope none of that happens. I just don't like the way it was handled, Mo'Nique. And it's like, you just got out of a situation like this. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm not saying Mo'Nique was wrong. She might be 100% right. But if your goal is to work, and if your goal is to reestablish your image as somebody who is likable and easy to work with, then this is not the way that you resolve conflict. This should have been handled backstage. This should have been handled backstage. Y'all should have worked this out backstage. Y'all should have made the promoter work it out backstage. And one of y'all, somebody, should have took it for the team and said, Joy, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to give in. You headline tonight, but I'm a headline on the next one if we do this again. And there's another thing that I want to point out. Mo'Nique kept pointing out the fact that DL opened for the Kings of Comedy and she closed for the Queens of Comedy. Using that as a ranking thing. You know what I'm saying? I closed, you open. You was an opening act. I closed. All things constant, you might have had a point, but we live in a patriarchal, and please don't take my words out of context. We live in a patriarchal society where more value is placed on men. There would not have been a Queens of Comedy if it was not for Kings of Comedy. So whether he opened for the Kings of Comedy or not, his opening opened the door for you to be able to close. So despite the fact that he opened for the Kings of Comedy, that's still, in my opinion, a higher ranking than you closing for the Queens. I got a feeling that this thing is going to get uglier before it gets better. I think in the court of public opinion, Mo'Nique is going to lose only for one reason. You never argue with somebody who has an everyday national platform to disseminate information to millions of people. DL has a platform. He's on the radio every day. Mo'Nique, all you have is social media and whatever interview you can garner or radio interviews you can garner. And baby girl, adding to this fuel of being difficult was just not what you need. You were just getting back on top with the BMF thing with 50 Cent. We're definitely looking forward to that, but it's coming off like you smelling yourself. And DL made a point, you know, Mo'Nique, you showed your ass and then you want to turn it into this whole females being done wrong. I'm being done wrong in the industry. And like I said, I don't have the intimate details of the situation with Lee Daniels, with Oprah, with Tyler Perry, with Netflix, nor do I have the intimate details of what's going on with DL Hughley and this promoter. But Mo'Nique, it's just not looking good. And all I'm saying is, sis, we want you to win. But this is not appropriate conflict resolution. You are not in the streets of Baltimore anymore. You can't do that, mama. You can't do that. The way you attacked him on that stage with his sexuality, talking about is he been bent over and stuff, it was just inappropriate. It was verbal assault. And unless he cussed you out and called you all kind of fat, nasty bitches backstage, I don't understand how anything with a contract dispute could have turned into you berating him on stage the way you did. Again, I understand you being upset if you were being tried. My complaint is not you expressing your upset for being tried. Like I said with the Tyler Perry stuff, it was the way you went about it. It just was unprofessional. It doesn't look bad, and it already adds further fuel to the fire that you are difficult to work with. And it's now got me feeling like what's going to happen on the set of BMF? Because 50 Cent the wrong one. You mess around and get into it with 50 Cent, baby, it's going to be over because he going to throw you. You better ask Ja Rule. That's all I got. Ain't got no more, y'all. I'm happy to be back on the job. Y'all see the new sound. Y'all see the new lighting. The least I can do if I'm going to be gone for 30 days is come back with some equipment upgrades. We got a whole lot of stuff coming in store this month. I'm coming back, y'all. I needed a creative break. But y'all was asking me about Mo'Nique and DL. That's my 2 cents on it, and I'm going to continue to follow the story. And if I missed anything, y'all drop down in the comments and let me know. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll call y'all hoes later. Bye.